Hey everybody, Jeremy here. So today I'm going to be unboxing and checking out the Ninja Foodi XL Pro Air Oven. Now this is the Walmart version, and Ninja does this from time to time. They'll have a couple different versions available for some of the products that they sell. The Walmart versions tend to be less expensive because a couple of features are missing compared to the versions that they have on their own website. This one is the 8-in-1 version that Walmart sells for $1.99, and then the other versions that you can see on Ninja's website and other stores like Best Buy and Target and Kohl's, those tend to be the 10-in-1 versions, and the standard price on those is $2.79. So you're saving yourself like 79 bucks if you choose to go with the Walmart version. What's different with the Walmart version is that it lacks a couple of features. I'm gonna look at my phone just so I can make sure I get it right. The 8 functions that this one has is whole roast, air fry, air roast, bake, broil, toast, bagel, and pizza. And then the more expensive version does all of that, except it also adds reheat and dehydrate. So you have to make up your mind whether or not those two features is something that you would like. Personally, I don't do a lot of dehydrating, so that's not a problem for me. And then also for the reheat function, the way I see it, it's an oven. Heating is kind of its thing, so I really don't need a dedicated button to reheat something. Another difference that I did notice on Ninja's website is the amount of accessories that you get with it. It's mostly the same. In this version, you're going to get 1 sheet pan, whereas Ninja will give you 2 sheet pans. And you also get an air fryer basket, 2 wire racks, a roasting tray, a removable crumb tray, and of course a recipe book. Ninja pretty much gives you all that stuff with the more expensive version, but they give you 2 sheet trays instead of just 1. But I figure most people around will probably already have some baking sheets and different oven safe things that you've probably used before. And as long as it can fit in here, you can reuse it. So you stand to save yourself a pretty decent amount of money if you decide to go with the Walmart version. So you just have to make that decision on your own and see if that's something that you'll be interested in. But we're going to open up this thing. We're going to take a look at it. And just for those who are curious, this is an 1800 watt oven. I know that that's important to a lot of people. And it functions just like a regular convection oven does. It has a fan, but the fan is in the back as opposed to being up top when it comes to Ninja's air fryers and the Ninja Foodi grill. So we're going to have a rear fan, and it works in the same way. It heats, it blows that hot air all around, and it helps you to get some more even cooking. And in some cases, you don't even have to flip the stuff that you cook. All right, so let's open this thing up, take a look at everything that's inside, and let's do some testing. So here's a look at everything out of the box. Let's take a look at what's on top here. First, we have the roast tray right here. And it tells you to use the roast tray to reduce smoke for convection functions such as whole roast, and air fry. It also gives you that exact same suggestion right there with a sticker on the unit. And then right here is the sheet pan. So I kind of like that they're black. I thought that they would be kind of like that stainless steel color, but I'm glad that it's black. It gives a nice little contrast. And when we open up the oven, here are our racks, all wrapped in plastic. As you can see, we get 1 rack, we get 2 racks, and then at the bottom, this is our air crisping basket. Let's just take that out so you can get a better look at it. So this is the air crisping basket. And then last but not least, we got the crumb tray right here, which will just always be down here at the bottom to, of course, catch all of the crumbs. And then also back here is the splatter shield. And the splatter shield was already installed when I took it out the box, but it's right there. That's where the fan is. It's going to keep the grease and stuff from, getting all gunked up and stuff back there. Now let's run through some of the functions of the oven and tell you how it works. Now, one of the coolest things about this, I think, is that all the buttons are incorporated onto this handle, which I think is a really cool look. And it makes sense because it's an oven and you want those buttons to be someplace where it's not going to get too hot, but it's still pretty cool to look at. Once we turn it on, you see that we're greeted with this very bright and vibrant display that has some really good viewing angles as well. You can look at it directly from the side and everything will still be nice and clear. So they did a really good job on this display. Now, it's not a touch screen, so you will have to use the various physical buttons in order to select what you want. Speaking of which, on the left side, we got all 8 functions that we have access to: whole roast, air fry, bake, broil, toast, bagel, and pizza. And to the right of that, here are all the other function buttons here. Now, if you want to scroll through each of these, there's function with a plus and a minus sign. So you just click those and then it'll take you through the various features with predetermined temperatures and times that you can change yourself. Right next to function is time, and that of course is for selecting your time. It goes up in increments of 1 hour when it's on the whole roast feature here. We go down to something like air fry, and by default it's 20 minutes. As you can see, we can just select it by the minute there as well. All right, and then right next to that is temperature, and the temperature goes up in increments of 5 degrees unless you hold it down, and then it starts going faster in increments of 10 degrees. And right under temperature, you see shade right there. Now, slices and shade refers to when you're using the toast and bagel function. So let's just go down to toast here. By default, you see it's set at 4 slices of toast, but you can change that. You can go all the way down to 1 piece of toast, and then you can go as high as 9 pieces of toast. And then the shade is kind of like the toaster feature where you can select how light or how dark you want it to be. So it has levels all the way from 1 up to 7. So you want the lightest shade on your toast, you're going to select 1. You want the darkest shade of your toast, you're going to select 7. So that is the same thing for the bagel function here: slices and shade. You don't have control over the temperature, only the slices and the shade. Now, over here is another button. It's called to level, and that is for when you want to cook more than one thing at the same time. The oven is going to suggest to you what levels you should put your wire racks. So for example, if you wanted to go to, say, air fry, you want to air fry a couple things at a time. So what you would do is hit the to level button, and it'll tell you to position your racks at level 4 and on level 2. And it's really easy to know what that means because you have the numbers of the rack positions right there on the inside labeled for you. Now, the to level feature doesn't work for everything. Like, for example, if you were to go down to, let's say, broil, and you hit the to level button, it's just going to beep because you can't broil in more than 2 places at a time. You can only do it suggested in rack level 3. And when you go down to toast, it's the same thing. Bagel is the same thing. Pizza, you can't make 2 pizzas at once, and it'll tell you to put it on racks 3 and rack number 1. So it might seem like a little complicated because you got so many different buttons and functions and subcategories and all that stuff, but it's really simple, once you wrap your head around, just the basics of it all. And you won't even have to worry about slices and shade unless you're doing something with bagels and toast. Now, the first thing that I'm going to cook in here is going to be good old-fashioned chicken wings. Nothing fancy. I just want to see how it handles the really simple stuff. But before I do that, I did wash all of the accessories with soap and water. And Ninja also recommends putting all the accessories inside of the oven and then running it on air roast at 450 degrees for 20 minutes to get rid of any residue. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And also, what's important to know is that they also recommend that you do not put the sheet pan, the roast tray, or the removable crumb tray inside of the dishwasher because it could degrade the finish. There's also a little note in the instruction manual that says that they do recommend that you hand wash them, but the air fryer basket and wire racks can be put in the dishwasher, but it may wear more quickly over time, just so you know. All right, so let's turn this on. We're going to go to the air roast function. There we go. And at 450 degrees, there we go, and that's as high as it'll go on air roast, for 20 minutes. Okay, cool. And we'll just hit start. All right, so we're gonna let this run for 20 minutes. And you see like here's a little light button here, so you can hit that and it'll dim the light. I kind of like how it just subtly goes off instead of just going boom like a light switch. It fades in and fades out. Very nice. All right, so now let's cook this chicken. Let me show you real quick what I'm working with. So I got 12 pieces of chicken here. The ones on the top is just regular. None of these are frozen. These are just regular wings, just with seasoning on them. And at the bottom, I have the seasoning on them, but then I also decided to use some of the Hooters wing breading on it as well. And the seasoning that I'm using for the chicken is this right here, good old JR's Family Barbecue All-Purpose Seasoning. Big fan of professional wrestling, so if you are too, then you know good old JR Jim Ross and his barbecue products. Not sponsored, but I did buy this, and my only regret is that I didn't buy two because this is good stuff. All right, so I really just want to see what the difference will be with breaded versus unbreaded. So let's turn this on, and I've already kind of pre-selected these things. So I'm going to have it on air fry. I'm going to have it on 20 minutes, but I'm going to bump the temperature up to 400 degrees. And they want me to put it on rack number 3. That's what I'm going to do. But first, I'm going to let it preheat. So the oven touts having a 90-second preheat time. And you can really hear that fan right now. It sounds like a jet engine. Wow, that sounds pretty powerful. But anyway, once it's done preheating, I'm gonna stick the chicken in and we'll see how it turns out. All right, so time is up. I gave it a few more minutes, so it was in there for about 23 minutes and I flipped the chicken one time. So we are going to take a look at it. First thing I wanna do is I'm gonna pull out this bottom rack just to see. Okay, so there's nothing stopping these from coming out. So that's just something that you should be aware of. So when you do go to pull out these racks, don't pull it out too far because you don't want everything just to come falling down. So make sure that you are careful. I wish that there was a way to stop that. All right, so let's get these wings out. It's like 196, 201. 189, and just get one back here. All right, so these are pretty much around 200 degrees. So these are done. Let's take them out. This is what the wings look like on the bottom. These are the ones that had the breading on them. And then at the top, starting about right there, are the ones that didn't have any kind of breading on them. And I think that they came out very well, very even all the way around. There's still some dry breading on some of this chicken, which can be alleviated during cooking if you just spray it with a little bit of like avocado oil, just so you can get rid of some of those drier spots. So that's not really a problem that happens in all kinds of air fryers. But yeah, let me sample one of each. Man, I really do like that JR's barbecue, that all-purpose seasoning. That's really good stuff. And it's not overpowering at all. So that is a good piece of chicken. Let's try one of these crispier ones. This one right here. Now these stuck to the pan a little bit. I sprayed the pan with a little bit of avocado oil, trying to avoid that. But these did manage to stick a little bit. The ones without the breading didn't stick at all, but the ones with the breading, those stuck a little bit. Not too bad, but just thought I'd point that out. Definitely a different texture. And you can taste a little bit of, you can definitely taste the difference with the breading on it. But I do recommend that if you are going to use the breading, you should still season your chicken, because the breading only gives it a little bit of flavor, but not too much flavor. I still think you should season the chicken, because otherwise it'll be kind of bland. But yeah, this was a good first test. They probably were done at 20 minutes, but I just wanted them to go for a little bit longer, and they came out really good. So yeah, the oven did a great job on these, and I'm going to be trying some other things in the oven as well. And yeah, so good job. Very good stuff. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, I'm Jeremy. Talk to you later.